This is another part of your immune system called a macrophage. You'll never have to take an antibiotic if your macrophages and your white cells are functioning properly. Your lymph nodes are loaded with these macrophages. This is a pseudopod. This is a bacteria. We'll say that's anthrax. This macrophage found something not natural in the body, so it goes over and sucks it up and eats it and regurgitates on its outer shell what it just ate. A helper T cell comes along and checks what it regurgitates. If it's a poison, if it's anthrax, it'll drop a chemical in the blood that goes to a B cell, converted to a parent cell, and your body can produce hundreds of thousands of antibodies an hour. You have an antibody for everything that comes in your body if your immune system's strong. So that's your responsibility. Stress can suppress your immune system. Too much fat can suppress your immune system. Too much sugar can suppress the immune system. Junk food can suppress the immune system. There's a lot of enemies out there that we attach to our body and we really don't need them. But what's amazing is if you have MS, these cannibalize your own body. They eat the myelin sheath off the nerve. If you have lupus, they eat the connective tissue someplace in the body. If you have rheumatoid arthritis, they'll eat the sheath off the bone. I've seen pictures of just look like it's bombed out where these have started cannibalizing your own body. And Dr. T. Colin Campbell in his book thinks it's because undigested protein leaks into the blood. And these will try to remove that protein because animal protein is totally different than human protein. In fact, you could inject in your blood, it would probably kill you. And it starts cannibalizing its own body because it loses control. But we've had several people with MS that's had great results. One lady in Lafayette, Louisiana was diagnosed with MS for 25 years. She teaches wellness in a hospital. She listened to this 3 times one weekend trying to make a decision. They now tell her we misdiagnosed, you don't have MS. Had a gentleman in Houston in a wheelchair. In 6 months he's back to work and he had tried everything. But his body healed itself when you put the right things in and get rid of the negative food. This is information I found in 1982. And I haven't found anyone else or any other product that can even approach Sunrider or even addresses this problem. This is one paragraph in a medical physiology textbook out of 1,100 pages. I thought it was the most important paragraph in the. It said the lymphatic system represents an accessory route by which fluid can flow from the interstitial spaces into the blood, and most important, the lymphatics can carry protein and large particulate matter away from the tissue space, neither of which can be removed by absorption directly in the blood capillary. This removal of protein from the interstitial space is an essential function without which we would die within 24 hours. That's the fluff I was talking about. That's the retention of fluid in the interstitial space. Most people are committing a slow suicide because of that fluff. I'll try to explain what I just read now. I found, when I started this journey, a gentleman showed up in my life for 2 years that taught medical physiology at Duke University. He won't charge me tuition after 2 years because I asked so many questions. Then a gentleman came in my life that does this illustration for a textbook, medical textbook, and he has to label everything he draws. He has to label. He knew the body better than anyone I've ever talked to. He said, if you can get people to understand this, you'll save a lot of lives. I don't like that word, save a lot of lives. That's just what he said. But it'll give people a chance. This is a capillary. A capillary has perforations. At the capillary level, plasma diffuses out and bathes the cell and goes back. While you're sitting here, about 240 quarts of plasma is diffused out and pulled back every minute. That's another miracle, isn't it? You just think the size of that. This is the lymphatic duct. You have 2.25 million miles of lymphatic duct in your body. It drains the body from your foot up to the neck, and it goes against gravity. If a cell dies in your toe, do you ever lay awake at night and say, well, some cells are going to die in my toe tonight. How am I going to get them out of there? You don't have to open it up and remove them with tweezers. It has to be pumped up through the groin, through the spleen, and back up to the great vein in the neck, and it's back in the blood where it belongs. Now, he said you've got to get rid of large particulate matter, which is dead tissue, and protein. The liver makes 3 proteins. It's very important. It's albumin, globulin and fibrinogen. When this blood plasma diffuses out and bathes the cell, some way it's got to get back to the blood capillary. And you've got something in your body to take care of that. Albumin it maintains that osmotic pressure. It acts like a magnet. It will pull the plasma back to the capillary. Up until 1961, all medical physiology textbook, all the scientific world said albumin cannot leave the capillary because it's too large. Any kind of stress can cause a dilation of the capillary, and albumin leaks into the interstitial tissue. Albumin attracts plasma. If albumin's in this tissue, it attracts water. It attracts plasma. How do you get it out of the tissue? Well, we were created a subatmospheric pressure, and as that albumin and water builds up, then it's supposed to kick it out down to the lymphatic system and take the albumin and carry it back up to the neck and drop back into the blood. We overwork it. Your body can handle that for a while. Then all at once you overwork it. You have all these toxins. You have all these stress. Food's a stress. Junk food's a stress. It causes a dilation, releases albumin. That's why you can gain 4 pounds after you eat a wrong meal, because albumin is released in the interstitial tissue and it'll hold water. This is a diseased tissue. This is when that fluid, this fluff starts to collect. That becomes mucus. People start this program and start drinking Cali, and they'll say, where is all the mucus coming from? It's a fluff. This has to be removed for you to be healthy. Can you imagine oxygen and nutrition getting this cell through all that mud? Can you imagine waste leaving the cell and getting back into the lymphatic system or broken down into carbon dioxide and water? It becomes more mess. And so it starts accumulating in the body. This does not have a natural pump. The only way you move this is exercise. And as this collects in the body, you don't feel like exercising. You come home tired and say, I don't have enough energy to exercise. It's because you haven't pumped this stuff out. You exercise and pump this stuff out, and all at once the energy comes up like this. You've got to exercise. You've got to work all the days of your life. If you don't, people lay in a nursing home on their back and die in their waste because they don't pump it out.